Hey, this is Gwen Lofton, and I just wanted to model the best way to make an assessment in Schoolnet if you're looking for perhaps multiple reading passages with questions for each one. So once you sign in to Schoolnet, you're going to click on Assessment Admin and then choose Create. When you have the option to choose between an express test and a manual test, we're going to do an express test. So you'll click Start Now under Express Test. You'll need to give your test a name. Choose the subject. So in this case, if I'm demonstrating reading passages, I'm going to do English, Language, and Literature. I'm going to pick a grade level. I'm going to do 4th. You'll want to confirm that the test category is My Classroom, which it should be by default. And you have to choose the preferred standard documents. They've asterisked the ones at the top that are most common, so English Language Arts is going to be up there at the top. So you just need to make sure you change the questions that have the asterisk. So the title, the subject, the grade level, and then the preferred standards documents. I'm going to leave all the other test settings the same as default for right now. You can check it out if you want to later, but for now we're going to keep it simple. So then I'm going to go to the next page by clicking Select Standards. On this page, you just want to confirm that the grade level stays the same. So I'm in 4th grade, which is what I'm looking for. And then you can expand the questions, the standards, to find questions. So you can see here I am looking for reading, and I have foundational, information, and literature. So I'm going to do information, and I'm going to choose key ideas and details. But you can see you can whittle down all the way to substandards as well. Over here on the left, it will tell you how many standards are, I should say how many questions are available for those specific standards. So I'm going to do reading information, key ideas, and details, and I'm going to click Add to Test Map. But on this screen, you could add whatever standards it is that you want to go ahead and assess. Now on this screen where it's asking how many items you want, this is where we kind of do a little finagling, and I actually suggest that you only enter in 1 for now, and I'll show you how we have more than 1 in the end. But at this point, it's best if you just say you want 1 item at this point. So I'm going to click Build Express Test after I say I want 1 item on my test. With an express test, Schoolnet is just going to randomly pop in an assessment item and passage that goes with the standards I've selected. But you'll see I have 1 passage and 1 question, which is not a good use of time. So I'm actually going to delete that one in just a second. But before I do, I need to add some items, so I even have options to delete the one. So in order to locate passages that have multiple questions for that 1 passage, we're going to click Add Item from Item Central. So we're going to look in Item Central for passages that have multiple questions aligned to it. So I'm going to click Add Item and then from Item Central. Now when you get here, it defaults to the Items tab, but because we're doing one for ELA passages, I want you to switch over to the Passages tab by clicking on Passages right here. And now we want to go back to searching for passages by standards. There are other ways that you can do it, but I'm going to model searching it by a specific standard. So here I'm just confirming I'm in the ELA standards, grade 4. I'm going to locate those standards again. So this time I'm going back to reading information, and I'm doing key ideas and details. So you would, again, it's kind of like repeating the process. This is just an efficient way we've found to build a reading assessment with multiple passages, yet still as an express test. So we just kind of need to repeat that process of finding standards. So I've done that. I've chosen key ideas and details for reading information. So I'm going to view results, and it says there are 318 passages that align with that standard. Now this page you want to pay close attention because you will notice that this passage only has 1 item. This passage only has 1 item. This passage has 1 item. As I'm sure you can agree, it is not worth our time or the students' time to have them read an entire passage just to answer 1 question. These passages are sorted by the least amount of items per passage to the most. So if you see all of these on this first page are only going to have 1 item, 2 items, 3 items, and so forth. However, if I use this button here and jump all the way to the last page, you'll see I have passages with a lot more questions. Like this one has 24 items or 26 items, all the way up to even 61 questions for one passage. So you can use these navigation bars, but just keep in mind that it's sorted from the least amount of items to the most. So I'm going to look for a passage that perhaps has, let's say, 5 or 6 questions per passage. So I'm going to go to the next 25, and I'm going to pick, I'll do this one on butterflies and moths. You can expand more to see the passage if you would like. And once we add it, we'll be able to see the test question. So I'm going to do the butterfly one, and I'll do this one on the rock cycle. I see that one has 5 items. So I'm going to add these 2 passages. Each happen to have 5 items on them. You can adjust the results per page if you like. Just wanted you to see that. Now that I've selected 2 passages with a total of 10 items, I'm going to click Add Passages with Items to Test. Now once I do that, I'm going to have a total of 3 passages, because remember the first time I built it, I just had the 1 passage with the 1 question. So at this time, I can go ahead and remove this 1 passage. It was kind of like a placeholder until I was able to access Item Central. So once I wait for that to reload, it's important that you give it a second. I see it spinning up here, so I need to wait for this test to reload without the History of Kites passage in there. And now I have 1 passage with 5 questions, and here are the questions, which you can check out and edit if you need to, or replace, or things like that, remove it. And then I have my second passage with another 5 questions. From here, the process is the same. At this point, you can go ahead and download the test as a PDF or a Word document if you want to. You can preview what it's going to look like online. You can go ahead and schedule it if you want to give it to your students to take online. From here, it's your own. But let me just kind of show you if I were to download the PDF, for example, so that I could give this to my students. I clicked on PDF. I see it spinning, so I know that it's working up there. It's gone to my downloads, and when I open up my downloads, I can see here it comes with a cover page, and then I have my reading passage, and then the 5 questions for the first one, and then my rock cycle passage with additional questions. So that is the way that I found to be the easiest way to build an express test, yet access Item Central to be able to hand choose passages that have multiple items per passage. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks. Bye.